What do they want? No AI. And when do they want it? Right hell now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Cow's Opinion. We have a super breaking story courtesy of Andy Robinson here at VGC and Kotaku's Ethan Gotch. These are the best articles I like that I could find because the video game actors are on strike. And I don't mean they've authorized a strike. They've been willing to do it. I mean, in less than 3 hours from the recording of this video, your favorite video game actors and actresses are almost certainly going to be striking. And it seems that AI is the sticking point. The strike happens tomorrow, July 26th, literally 12:01. Less than 3 hours right now. If you look at the bottom of my screen right here, 9:10 in the evening as I'm recording this. So, and look, we have other related content where EA is saying generative AI could make it 30% more efficient and boost monetization. There's a real hunger among developers to use AI. AI will push the boundaries of storytelling. These guys, we've seen really crappy games come out because these guys are pushing only for the bottom line. And it appears that, at least when it comes to voice actors' jobs, they are done. So, SAG-AFTRA approved the strike action last September, almost a year ago, if the union could not come to terms. And they've been talking since October of 22 to companies Activision Productions, Blind Light, Disney Character Voices, EA Productions, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, Epic Games, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and WB. This is a big production, y'all. But they're not going to be able to hire unionized actors as of tomorrow. And in fact, it's even bigger than you think because, as this article on Video Games Chronicle points out, Blind Light contributed to things such as The Elder Scrolls, Halo, Destiny, and Fallout, while Formosa also works on Call of Duty and other things like Death Stranding and God of War. So yeah, pretty much any AAA title uses voice acting. Now, anything that's coming out within the next few months almost certainly has everything done. Although agreements have been reached on many issues important to SAG-AFTRA members, the employers refused to plainly affirm in clear and enforceable language that they will protect all performers covered by this contract in their AI language, says SAG-AFTRA. Now, I don't necessarily like reading this quote from Fran Drescher because she was one of the ones who, you know, kind of was soft on voice actor protections last year, but she seems to have come around as she states, "We're not going to consent to a contract that allows companies to abuse AI to the detriment of our members. Enough is enough. When these companies get serious about offering an agreement our members can live and work with, we will be here ready to negotiate." And their chief negotiator, Duncan Crabtree Ireland, said, "The video game industry generates billions of dollars in profit annually. The driving force behind that success is the creative people who design and create these games. That includes the SAG-AFTRA members who bring memorable and beloved game characters to life, and they deserve and demand the same fundamental protections as performers in film, television, streaming, and music. Fair compensation and the right of informed consent for the AI use of faces, voices, and bodies. Frankly, it's stunning that these video game companies haven't learned anything from the lessons of last year, that our members can and will stand up and demand fair and equitable treatment with respect to AI, and the public supports us in that." Going over to Kotaku, again, it's the first big strike since 2017 after all these months. They're going to be hitting the picking line. Last year, we saw actors and writers doing their own strikes. This is just, you know, I guess this is the last major group that is, as far as I know. So members of the Screen Actors Guild of American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which is SAG-AFTRA, voted last fall to authorize the strike with an unwillingness of big game companies to budge on guaranteeing performers' rights over how the work is used in training or creating AI copies. They have 2,600 VAs and motion capture artists, and we're talking big names. We're talking the big three, man. The Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Not literally, but though they may have played those characters. But I'm talking Troy Baker, Jennifer Hale, and Matt Mercer. You can't make a game without any of those three anymore. And then we have Mr. Crabtree Island's quote here again. "We are disappointed." Now, we have a spokesperson for the companies involved in the interactive media, the other side, giving this quote. "We are disappointed the union has chosen to walk away when we are so close to a deal, and we remain prepared to resume negotiations." There's missing quotations at the part, excuse me. But this is from spokesperson Audrey Cooling. We have already found common ground on 24 out of 25 proposals, including historic wage increases and additional safety provisions. Our offer is directly responsive to SAG-AFTRA's concerns and extends meaningful AI protections that include requiring consent and fair compensation to all performers working under the IMA. These terms are among the strongest in the entertainment industry. Now, the article here goes on to say why things like the new Dragon Age is probably already finished. They won't be able to do any last-minute additional recordings if they need to. This is going to affect stuff that's going to come out like middle of next year. Probably Principal, VA, and motion capture has been completed on anything coming out the second half of this year, and almost certainly the first half of 2025. So if the strike doesn't go on for a massively long time, it may not affect things too terribly. Now, the last time they went on strike, as per Kotaku, was in 2016. That was over pay rates, and that did last an entire year, which is why it's important to note that we have maybe a year's worth of games that are fully finished, as far as the voice acting and motion capture are concerned. And so maybe this will be okay, maybe it won't. We don't know. The issue is that unlike the issue with higher pay, people involved in the current negotiations say the lack of AI protections poses an existential threat to actors and their creative output. Wired recently reported that companies like Activision, Blizzard, and Riot have moved ahead with using generative AI tools to help create concept art and even potentially the assets that would make it into finished games, such as the new Call of Duty. 18 months of negotiations have shown that our employers are not interested in fair, reasonable AI protections, but rather flagrant exploitation, as per negotiating committee chair Elmali. I apologize if I got your name wrong, ma'am. We refuse this paradigm. We will not leave any of our members behind, nor will we wait for sufficient protection any longer. We look forward to collaborating with teams on our interim and independent contracts, which provide AI transparency, consent, and compensation to all performers, and to continuing to negotiate in good faith with this bargaining group when they are ready to join us in the world we all deserve. And also, you know, San Diego Comic-Con is tomorrow. There's a panel for Ashley Birch, Nosho Dalla, and others. What do you think they're going to want to talk about tomorrow, huh? What do you I've seen Ashley Birch. She is not going to stay quiet. What do you think she's going to want to talk about? There is a weird person talking on Kotaku. And there's a weird person talking here too. Gosh darn it. They got to just keep putting stuff everywhere for them to talk. So, last year during the writer and the actor strike, SAG-AFTRA was criticized a bit about being too soft for voice actor rights. They seem to have come around now that they've been handling everything else. So why is this important? Well, look, we've all played around with AI at least a little. You've seen commercials of your cell phone now lets you use generative AI to make custom GIFs and memes and stuff. It's cute and it's fun. The reason why these men and women are so concerned is you don't want somebody using your likeness and your voice acting and your craft to make a computer program that can do everything you can do based on you, and then you never get work again because it's much cheaper to just buy the software. Matthew Mercer does not want to be replaced by Matthew Butt. I'm sure he could use a little help on Critical Role because that's a weekly show, but that's another discussion entirely, and that's with his consent. This is them, and I know some people are like, it's just a program. It's just, look, I get it, man. Technology changes everything. AI is probably going to change my day job, and I'm hopeful that it's not going to get me replaced. It's probably not going to get me replaced based on what I do. But, look, it's changing. They've been trying to roll it out for things like as simple as ordering at a drive-thru. And yeah, it's not gone swimmingly great, but everyone's worried about what happens if and when it does. Am I just going to be replaced? Is there some hidden provision when I work for EA Games next time that Troy Baker's going to walk in, he's going to do his dozens of hours of motion capture and his voice acting and whatnot for a game, and then he goes home, and then 3 months later he realizes, oh, EA Games is never going to hire me again because they had a provision that lets them build Troy Baker AI and now they have their own Troy Baker who sounds 95% the same, and 95% is enough for them. They're already trying to replace development stuff with this kind of thing, guys. And look, I've played around with AI image generators. Some are really good, some are really garbage. And it's fun to look at, but it's not like I'm using it to replace anybody's job. And there's always going to be technology replacing your job. But what you don't want is you don't want to have to train the thing that's going to replace you and then realize, man, again, I'll go back to my example. If Troy Baker doesn't realize what's in his contract, he makes Troy Baker AI bot for EA Games, and then EA Games decides, you know what, we can just sell this software around to all the video game houses and continue to work on it, and now nobody's going to hire Troy Baker because you can just use the software for cheaper. And that seems weird, but that's the kind of thing that they're worried about. Because, look, you can't tell me there's not some unscrupulous person that's going to make it. Now, going back here to Kotaku, as the chief negotiating committee chair, not necessarily chief, Sarah said, "We will look forward to collaborating with our teams on our interim and independent contracts which provide AI training." So it's these big companies that are trying to do this. If you're a medium-sized developer or you're even a big company that has like your own contract and you're still working with them, SAG-AFTRA has no problem with you. They're not stopping all work. They're stopping all work with these guys. Those companies now likely won't be able to hire. But it's not like we're never going to be in video games again. They are perfectly willing to honor the other contracts with other. They're not locking out all video games because look, these guys know a lot of these smaller, medium-sized, and independent publishers that they have contracts with that they like. They don't want to punish them for this. So they're going to continue to work, make new contracts, and honor the existing ones. It's these big companies that apparently on that 25th thing, they said they have 24 out of 25 done. It's that sticking point on that 25. Do you have meaningful protections that you're not just going to use all of our talent one more time to build an AI and then never use them again? But I know it's kind of a trendy topic right now, so I wanted to let you guys know. You can always comment below. What do you think? Do you think that the actors are being a little, are they being a little too sensitive to this? Do they not understand how technology is? And this is kind of where I come down, the second half. I mean, we've seen a lot of closures because the people at the top make decisions based on stock price and money, and then we get garbage games from idiots who decide to use certain checklists and certain procedures that just don't make good games, or they make terrible looter shooters that only last 10 hours and then you've got no new content for 6 months and they wonder why the game fails. Is this just yeah, I can totally understand why they don't want to be screwed over by these developers. I'm more in camp 2 than I am camp 1. I know it's an opinion show, but that's my opinion. What's yours? You got the comments down below. And you know what else you can do? You can play more games. Games are awesome. And you deserve awesome. And you know what else? I would be interested to know what goes on that panel tomorrow. So maybe we'll find a summary of that or any kind of good clips. But I'll see you guys soon.